From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.
Good morning. This is Craig Allison with your Morning Pulse for May 14th, Thursday, May 14th. Sorry about that. But before we get into our top 6 stories for you this morning, let's just get into our question of the day. Question is, nearly 20% of servers say they really wish you wouldn't do this at a restaurant. What is it? Answer is sit at a table before it has been cleaned. Now we have open seating, but again, this is just 20% of servers. So, just, I guess, be kind and considerate whenever you're going to a restaurant. But that being said, if you want to participate in our question of the day, be sure to head over to our 1011 Facebook page, put in your guess. We read off both guesses and the answer every morning on 1011 this morning. That being said, let's get into your top 6 stories for you this morning. Starting things off on the international side, President Trump and the president of China have wrapped up more than 2-hour-long talks behind closed doors. The White House described it as a, quote, good meeting in a statement, saying the two leaders discussed economic cooperation, fentanyl, the U.S. war with Iran, and the Strait of Hormuz. But according to China's state media, Taiwan has emerged as the biggest headline from the talks. The Chinese leader reportedly warned President Trump that there could be conflict if Taiwan is not, quote, handled properly. But the Chinese president adding that the two countries should be partners, not rivals. Congress has approved a $14 billion weapons package for Taiwan, self-governing hub of tech production, critical for America's economy, which China claims as its own. Trump has yet to sign the bill, which China is strongly against. For President Trump, trade was the key topic. A delegation of U.S. business CEOs joined him in Beijing, and according to Chinese media, Xi told the execs that China's door will open wider and their companies will have broader prospects. President will have even more meetings with the Chinese leader tomorrow before heading back to Washington, D.C. So again, developing story. There are 2 different focuses from the Chinese and U.S. perspectives here, so be sure to follow us at 1011 Now for any updates with these meetings. Bringing things back to the local side in our primary election coverage, just becoming final last night, Denise Powell will be moving on to the general election in the Democratic House primary for Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District. The race was tight between Powell and John Kavanaugh with about 1,000 votes separating those two. The update on totals in this race were not expected until Friday as officials began processing and scanning those ballots Wednesday afternoon. So again, just a lot earlier than expected, but in the race for public defender, 2 Democrats still neck and neck, incumbent Christy Egger, who has served in the office for more than 30 years with 51% of votes, and Sarah Newell, who serves on major felony cases for public defender's office, carrying 49% of votes. And following up on a story we brought you last week, the city of Syracuse asking voters to approve a 1% sales tax increase to fund a new fire and rescue facility. As you can see right here, it is still close by a difference of 7 votes. 51% of voters saying they voted no for the increase, with 49 voting for yes. So again, these are just some races that we're still keeping track of in the neck-to-neck race, but one that just came through just last night. So again, be sure to stick with us at 1011 Now for any more election updates as they come through. The third story for you this morning, 2 Grand Island cases. One, a woman accused of stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from customers at a headstone business, is still incompetent to stand trial. Judges delayed a formal ruling while waiting for an additional evaluation for 48-year-old Kelly Lepler, facing 46 counts of theft by deception. She's accused of taking money from customers for headstones that were never delivered, totaling out to more than $200,000 lost. The case will now continue on to June 12th. So be sure to stick with us for that. Then also staying in central Nebraska, an Ohio man accused of killing a Missouri man at a Grand Island rest stop in June of 2024 is still mentally incompetent as well to stand trial. 23-year-old James Thompson's case has been continued again. Thompson previously entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity and later asked to represent himself, prompting the court to order a mental evaluation. He's looking at murder, assault, and weapons charges. The next competency hearing is in July. Moving things over back to Lincoln and happening today, residents will get a closer look at a major street improvement project planned for 27th Street. LTU is hosting a pre-construction open house tonight for planned upgrades along 27th Street between Nebraska Parkway and South Street. Now, planned work includes concrete repairs, curb and median improvements, pavement resurfacing, and more. The overall project is expected to cost about $5.4 million, with construction currently planned to begin in the spring of 2026. So, tonight's open house is from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Ortner Center at Union Adventist University, and you can be sure we'll keep you updated with what comes out of that open house. Over to your fifth story, the Lincoln Hygiene Network put on its first Diva Party, where they gathered with students and other young women at Lincoln High School to promote menstrual health and equity. The nonprofit says up to 1 in every 4 students in Nebraska has missed school because of a lack of access to hygiene products. Last night was about more than just raising awareness. The organization's also providing hygiene products from Diva. A local pediatrician also stopped by to provide more information to students with questions about their health.
And my job as a pediatrician is to help take care of our youth and our adolescents, being able to destigmatize periods, help girls understand the difference between myths, facts, and just provide information that helps them feel more confident about themselves, especially with their menstrual health.
The nonprofit says hygiene products in public restrooms are critical. They hope to hold more of these Diva parties in the future, hoping to continue spreading awareness and education. Now, wrapping things up with your sixth and final story for you this morning. One of the most time-honored traditions of voting is getting that sticker after you cast your ballot. And on Tuesday, you might have been offered a sticker looking like this. The sticker features a drawing of Nebraska's state bird, the western meadow lark. It's the winning illustration for the first I Voted sticker contest. The artist, Katie Nealand, is the Associate Director and Communications Coordinator for UNL's Center for Great Plains Studies. She says her line of work inspires her artwork, and the Songbird's tune drove her inspiration when designing her submission.
I thought about turning the song into the I Voted part of the sticker, and sort of like the meadowlark is celebrating voting through his song.
If you want to learn more about Nealand's art, head over to this story on our website. That's going to do it for you, though, on this Thursday morning for your Morning Pulse. And before we toss things over to Brandon Rector, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We have some potential for severe weather coming up, so you'll want to listen in.
Good Thursday morning. Meteorologist Brandon Rector with you in the 1011 Severe Weather Center. It is going to be partly to mostly cloudy, warm and windy today with south winds 20 to 30, gusting up to 45 miles per hour. There is a 20 to 30% chance of isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms through the day and into this evening. We have a marginal to slight risk of severe weather in southern Nebraska and northern Kansas for today, especially this afternoon and evening. Large hail and damaging winds are the main threats. The tornado threat looks to be low. Red flag warning in effect for much of northern and western Nebraska through the day and into the evening due to critical fire weather conditions. Temperatures at noon, mainly in the 70s. At 4, it's upper 70s to upper 80s. And at 8 this evening, mid 70s to low 80s. In Lincoln, for today, we'll warm up into the low 80s this afternoon, above average for this time of the year.
From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.